There we go. We're starting. Hi! Welcome to Hidden Gems.
You just missed an amazing 4-minute conversation that can't go on the record. So.
It can't. No, it can't. We're just striking it from the record. Okay, so we're going to start with how did you two meet? We have the awesome Jeremy Nicolette and the wonderful, awesome Christi.
Oh my God,
Nicolette.
wonderful, awesome.
The industrious, illustrious
Oh my God.
power couple. How's that?
Do you
Is
have a
that
thesaurus in your pocket?
Okay, so the beautiful Nicolette couple. How about that? Does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Fair enough.
How did you two meet?
All right, well, go ahead. Go ahead again.
Take two.
Take two. Yeah, go ahead.
This is take two, just so you know.
School of ministry.
At Bethel.
Bethel School of Ministry out in Reading.
In Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in our first year, we were both there 9 months before we even pretty much saw each other.
Right.
You had seen me once.
Yeah.
You didn't have a good impression.
No.
Oh.
I didn't. He was on stage. I remember we were upstairs. That's how long ago it was for us. They were doing worship upstairs in the old room.
Yep.
I walked in. He's on stage, and for some reason, I was like, he just looks so full of himself.
What was he playing, an instrument?
Oh yeah, he was. I think he was playing guitar and maybe even leading. I think he was
Oh.
leading. Yeah. And I was like,
wow.
Oh. So that was my first
Your
memory
first impression.
of him. It was like, yeah,
He's very intimidating to some people. So.
Yeah, actually, we you don't mean to.
No, that was definitely just feeling out of my skin. So
yeah,
I was like,
I know that.
feeling
now,
uncomfortable and self-conscious. So. But
and that was
the first
It
impression.
was a bad
for
read.
her.
It was a bad read. Is what it was. It was a bad
You
read.
weren't flowing in the Holy Ghost.
I was not.
Okay, so you go out to school of ministry, but before how did you even wind up at school of ministry?
I was working full-time out here, and then I went out to Reading to the School of Worship for, which was like a 6 or 7 week course, and that was a great experience.
Yeah.
Had a good time out there, and then people were trying to convince me to come back, like Chris Valentin, Bill Style telling me you should come out to school, and I was like, nah, I don't think so. And so then I came back out, and I went back to my job, my full-time job, and did that for a while, and it didn't take too long to feel like, you know what, I kind of need to have some type of direction or feeling like I know where I'm going or what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
He was looking for a wife. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There was a lot of things I was looking for. That was definitely one of them, and that was part of that puzzle. So, but then, so then I went and talked to my dad, and he said, well, what do you see yourself doing? And I said, well, I don't really know, but I grew up in the church, and I kind of always pictured or envisioned that I'd be involved in ministry somehow.
Oh.
And he said, well, if you're looking to kind of get brought up in ministry, he's like, I couldn't recommend BSSM highly enough. Like that would be a good place to go to. And so I went back to work, and I signed up for the next fall semester, and then drove out. So
it took you, what, 3 days? Did you drive by yourself?
No, one of my buddies went with me.
Okay.
So, and it was 3 days.
3 days.
Yep.
It took me that long to get from Colorado Springs to here.
We were going fast.
Yeah. I took my time and I went very slow. Or at least the speed limit.
We didn't really stop to sightsee. We just
okay.
went straight through.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, and so you get out there, and your first reaction was you walked into the room and you saw him up on the stage, and you're thinking, oh, he's
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bad read. Yep.
So how did you wind up going to BSS? Because I know from personal experience, she did not want to go to BSSM.
I did not.
So it's interesting, neither one of you at first really did want to go.
Yeah.
But that's where they met each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you obviously had been, tell me about, like, what was your journey to get to BSSM?
Well, I mean, I grew up there. I grew up at Bethel. A lot of my friends went. I saw a lot of people go, and I was just like, yeah, not for me. So instead, I went to Hillsong and I went to their music program for about a year.
In Australia.
In Australia.
Let me just tell you, that was the hardest thing. Christy, BSSM is right here. I was like your dad. You need to go to BSSM. And my daughter is not one that follows the crowd just to follow the crowd. So
No, not usually.
not usually.
Yeah, so I went to Hillsong. That was great. Came back. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I did feel like the marriage was going to be a big next season.
So you were looking for a husband.
I kind of, except when I got home, I actually felt God said I wasn't going to be dating. So that because I knew marriage was going to be the next thing, I knew that there was some things that I needed to work on so that I could come into the marriage with some healing. And so I remember sitting in service. I knew you wanted me to go, but I remember sitting in service and I felt like God said I was supposed to go. Chris Valentin was speaking. He wasn't even talking about the school. And I felt like God said, you're going. And I was like, pretty sure you meant this. I'm sure that was for this person next to me, not so much me. And then I was like, fine, if you confirm it, then fine, I guess I'll go. So, I mean, he did, and I ended up going, but my stubbornness, I was like, fine, I'll go, but I'm not joining the worship team. I'm actually going to ask the leadership if I could get involved in the stirring, because I didn't want it was for me. It was like a personal, intimate time, and I wasn't there for the, any thing on stage. It was just for me. And because that's what God told me to do. And so I did. I was actually, with the blessing of Mark and everybody, I got involved in the stirring. So that's where
Mark?
Mark is he was the head of the school.
Okay.
So that's why for so long.
What is the stirring?
Sorry, it was another church. Yeah, it was another church.
In Reading.
In Reading, yes. So yeah, it was just right down the road, connected to Bethel and everything, like sister church, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did, and that's why I think we went to school so long together, because I felt like I was like in a hidden place. It was such an intimate time between me and God, just working on me. So that was,
Okay, so you see him on the stage. So when was your first sight of her, and how did that go?
It was just before we were getting ready to go on the annual missions trips that the school would do, and I was signed up to go to San Francisco, and it turns out she was too. And I remembered seeing her for the first time, talking to a couple of my friends in the back of the room, and I just kind of wandered up to the conversation, and she was very inclusive in the conversation, even though she didn't know me. It was almost like I just stepped into the conversation and I got included in it somehow, and I wasn't trying to, but I liked that I was attracted to her personality, and she was pretty, and I was just like, how have I not seen you this entire school year? There's only 300 of us, you think I would have seen you once, and I don't think I'd ever even seen her.
Wow.
Which was pretty crazy, actually. So
That's really interesting, because you felt like you were in a season of hiddenness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she was very hidden, and for the first couple months, I mean, myself and a lot of the guys, we're all single. We were definitely had our eyes open, So at least I thought so. And then, so it was really a shock. It was like, where did you come from? It's like, I thought I knew every girl in here, but
That's
yeah.
fascinating.
I don't remember that meeting.
You don't remember
she still
it.
doesn't recall that.
No, I don't remember.
That's because I wasn't I really didn't get involved. I was just more paying attention to you, and
So that's not my first
Just, listening in.
remembering him though. So my first impression obviously was on stage, but my first interaction, I don't remember that one.
So it's 9 months into the school year now, and you feel like your season of hiddenness is starting to shift.
Yes. So my year was up in February.
Okay. So you weren't going to date. You didn't date all through
dating.
school.
I wasn't. Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
And my year was up in February. February came and I was like, okay. Now I was looking. I was like, where is he?
Yeah. Okay.
But it wasn't until.
Because I remember Broken Arm Boy.
Oh, that was a long time. That was before.
Wasn't he in that class? I think he was.
I don't think he was.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. No, that was like.
he also was a ginger.
He was blonde.
He was a ginger.
I'm not sure you know.
I might not.
He was a ginger with a broken arm and a
Well,
crippled
I know
club
what she's
foot.
talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
I thought he was in your class, but apparently not.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember, so February came and went, and then it was missions week, and I
Yeah.
felt like God said I was supposed to go to San Francisco, which I thought was odd because I traveled the world. Like, and there was lots of options, so I thought it was very strange. And we were in a logistics meeting. I'm sitting with a mutual friend of ours. I don't know where he was. I still don't know where he was in the room, but she and I were sitting there, and we were getting put in cars. And I was gonna raise my hand to get put in one car, and she's like, wait, no. She wanted to be put in a car with another guy. so once that car came up, then she raised her hand. I was like, yeah, sure, fine. And it was on that trip in the car that we were sitting in the same car together on the way down to San Francisco.
He in the front, you in the front? I mean, how did that
It was
work?
a Suburban.
It was like a Suburban.
Yeah,
it
so
was
I
like
think
5 or 6 of us in the same vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And you were in the far back, and I was in the middle.
Yeah, you were like right in front of me in the car. Yeah.
Okay, and so you had already talked with him a couple of times.
No.
You
Well,
hadn't talked to him.
No, we had the conversation where he came in and I included him, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
There was
So
no introduction.
There was
or
this
anything
was
like
the
that.
first conversation we had.
Okay, but you saw that she was on the trip, and you had already seen her.
Yes.
Because you had already stepped up
so
to
I
that
was
conversation.
happy to see that they were in
Oh,
the
did
same
you
car.
wait? Did you wait to get put in the same car as me?
Oh, now the truth comes out.
I honestly can't remember how
yeah,
the
okay.
arrangements worked out, but I was glad that we were in the same car.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's kind of just where it started.
And so did you guys talk to each other at that point going down? Because San Francisco's a 4-hour trip
Right.
from Reading. Or was it
a
just
group
it was more
okay.
a group.
Okay.
I think on the car ride back though, didn't we get to talk to each other, or did we? No, that's right. We got back to Bethel.
Well, hang on. It was on the car ride down that we started talking about like deep personality stuff because that's something I love and I'm nerdy like that. And I remember you were like, she's so deep and she's pretty. But we started connecting because I actually really liked like what he was bringing to the table, like as far as conversation and everything too. So really, even in San Francisco, we were with each other.
Oh,
like
because
all the time.
explain
like
what
the
it-
two of us.
So explain what
not
a
just
trip
trips, but-
down to a missions trip. What does that look like? What are you doing out on the streets, and what did you get, or do you even remember?
Yeah, we did
we
like
did some,
socks
like,
to the homeless,
Some homeless
and
stuff, going out at night.
roses to the
and,
prostitutes.
What's it called? Ashley Hate Park.
Yeah.
Ash Hateberry.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
one.
that park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Feeding the home, lots of
But you-
stuff like that.
But you go in groups. You're usually in groups.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you guys paired off in
Yes.
those? Okay,
Yep.
so you were.
Yep, and then Aaron I think was with us and a couple other people,
okay.
but it was we just started. Basically, we were just like together and stayed together, and then the ride home, it was you gave me a ride home. We got to the parking
That's
lot.
what I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember how that worked.
Yeah, you gave me a ride home in your Toyota Corolla. Your sweet ride. Your sweet practical ride.
Excuse me. I bought that brand new on purpose. And you know what, speaking of plans, the guy that sold that to me, he said, this car is going to last you. You're going to have a wife and 2 kids and a dog by the time you get rid of this car.
Really?
He was actually totally correct.
Really?
That was when we got
True
rid of it.
story.
We had two kids and a dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that was a good salesman. I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Toyota Corollas are
Toyota
good
Corolla,
cars.
solid, practical.
Yeah.
97 JD14 was the license plate number.
Wow.
Because he said, just think of it like you're having 97 bottles of Jack Daniels. And I forget what the 14 was, but I always remember that. So,
After
anyway,
97
that sales
bottles of
guy
Jack
was
Daniels.
super impactful, apparently.
That's awesome. So So he took you home in his
Yes. In his
Corolla.
Which she
Corolla.
likes to make fun of, but I was not about flash. I wanted practicality and
Yeah.
functionality.
I
Which is one of
appreciated
the
that.
things that you actually did appreciate
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
him.
I still do.
Yeah.
That's where that's
Yeah.
Well, then quit making fun of my
It's
car.
fun. It's fun to tease you about it. I'm allowed.
Now he drives a really cool black truck.
It's super practical.
So anyway, so he takes you home.
Yes.
When he drops you off, do you remember thinking, oh, this is the guy that I feel?
No,
you
not
didn't.
then. No, but I was interested. I was interested in spending more time with him.
Yeah.
He dropped me off, and he was like, "Oh, our college group, like a study group, like a home group, was literally right around the corner from where we lived on North Street." He's like, "You should come," and I thought, "All right, why not?" So really, in my mind, it's like we were together pretty much ever since then. Ever since our missions trip down, it was like
Wow.
just always together.
Yeah, we started hanging out with kind of like in small groups, like
Yeah.
some friends, close friends, and stuff like that. But then,
Yeah, and then the
After-
first time we went on a date, we were
then we actually started. going
were
out
skipping
alone.
class.
Mark
Sorry,
Brooks.
Dan.
I hope you're not
Sorry,
listening,
Dan
or
Fairley.
Dan Fairley.
And it was her idea. That was
Oh,
I was
snap!
like,
I raised you better than that.
apparently not.
It was like a hermeneutics or hermeneutic, whatever. What's the word?
Hermeneutics.
The hermeneutics.
yeah, you don't know what
Yeah,
it
you
is.
maybe need to go back to BSSM. Hint, hint.
Oh,
No, hanging out with you was way more fun.
Yeah, that was Fairley's class, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
exegetics and hermeneutics.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, so we went to coffee and it was like, that was fun. And then the second time we hung out,
I think you.
am I skipping something?
No, because we were in the class and you
Oh.
were like, "You want to get out of here?" And I was like, "Well, I guess if it's with you, then yeah, let's go."
Bad influence.
Now, Daryl, you see the bad influence.
Sorry, not sorry.
And so the second date, you were
the second date, we were hanging out in the back of my pickup truck. We were just hanging out. We weren't even like really dating yet, and we were talking about perspectives. I'll preface that because I know. Yeah, so we were talking about perspectives and how sometimes things can be seen. You can just say the same word and have different perspectives. Actually, how did we get on that topic? Who knows? We had lots of
It had
conversations.
something to do with how do you? I think it was like how do you define something to do with like life goals or vision or something
Yeah,
like that.
right. So we were having that conversation, and I can't remember even how you said it, but you were like, "Well, I'm basically checking you out to
No,
see."
I can tell you exactly what
Oh,
happened.
okay,
yeah,
good.
because you said, well, what would you see with me? Like, what
Oh,
would
did
you
I
see
say
hanging
that?
out with
Oh,
me?
all right, that's
And-
fair then.
Yeah, I know, it was a straight up question. You thought I volunteered it? No,
I don't
you
remember.
asked.
All I remember is what you said,
And-
girlfriend.
And so I said, at that point, well, basically, I'm checking you out as a prospect to be a wife. And so that was our second time hanging out alone.
Yes.
And
I think that's amazing. I just want to pause
Yeah.
there for a minute on that particular part, because a lot of times at your ages and you're at school, and I was there for 12 years, so I dealt with couples like this. It's not that clear, especially after going, because there's these games. It feels like a bunch of games are being played during that time frame just to see whether or not you work for me. But when you said that, what did that do to you, that second date?
Yeah. I appreciated it.
Yeah,
Because I was
yeah.
like, okay.
Because
Like,
that's
I mean,
straight
it was a
up.
little bit like, that's big. But I appreciated it, and it didn't scare me off, obviously.
I like,
So,
you guys have been married now for,
20 years.
20 years.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we met and married within 10 months, which we don't always recommend. There's not a formula, but it works for us.
It did work for you, because even hearing Cindy and Jonathan's story about how they dated over letters for 2 years,
Mhm.
and your story of 10 months, you can't, every couple's going to be different, but it's the upfront, honest, like, communication that you guys have, which I think is vital, but not enough young people do that. They're in for the games. What can I get out of you? But you straight up said that. which caused you, like, those are the parameters now. That's the boundaries for the relationship. So then you have the choice. He wasn't forcing anything on you.
Nope.
You just had that choice. And I know both of you well enough to know this. You're both very stubborn people. So when you get something in your mind, you don't let go. In a good way. That could be a good thing.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Good point. But that clear definition is what created the safe boundaries. So he set the precedence even for the relationship itself.
And that 10 months could have been years.
It felt
honestly,
like it really felt like it.
Like we were constantly delving. Like we don't waste time. Like that's like, we still don't. Like,
Nope.
we try not to waste time.
Yeah.
And so if there's like something that we're gonna try to go for, then it's like, why mess around? So, but even within that exploration of dating, it wasn't like what you're talking about. Like other people, like it can be a little frivolous. Let's feel our way through things. It was very directed and very open to feedback as well. Like we went to premarital counseling, and we delved into anything we could regarding relationships. We were constantly challenging ideals, and we were trying to project we were trying to cast vision as to what we would want. So it was a lot of like setting the stage, and on purpose. It was very purposeful, and we spent a lot of time together. So I mean, it was like we probably got about 2 years worth of courtship within within about 5 months. But
and we invited we invited you guys, like if you or if his parents or if anybody would have been, or Danny Silk, like if anybody would have,
we wanted feedback,
said red flags, I think we would have both been aware of that and taken
And
that
nobody
into mind.
did.
Nobody
Because
did.
here you are 20 years later, two dogs, a cat, one dog and a cat, and 3 daughters later.
And chickens and rabbits.
And chickens and rabbits. So what would you tell your daughters at this stage, because they're getting to the stage where there's going to be others be introduced to the family? What would be some of the things that you would tell either them or just even that age demographic compared to what you guys went through? How would you encourage them to explore meeting people of the opposite sex?
Meeting people?
Meeting or
that's
what?
different.
Meeting people with the intention of maybe even having a life partner.
Well, I wouldn't put that much pressure on it.
That's good.
I really wouldn't. I think, and I know like he actually hadn't dated really anybody before we got together.
Oh, Christy was your first girlfriend?
Pretty much.
Now
Sorry.
the truth comes out. Was
Oh, wait.
Christy the
So, am I learning something new?
Yes, she was. Okay.
Well, and that was a concern of mine because I was worried. I was like, well, how do you know how amazing I am if you don't have anything to compare it to? I'm just kidding. You were supposed to laugh.
You weren't kidding at all. You told me that. Yeah.
Amazing? I didn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
I
weren't
misunderstood
listening?
what you said.
But I really did. I was worried that like if you don't know what how do you know that I'm who you want to be with if you've not experienced it? Because I had dated before, not like a lot, but I at least had some experience to know like I like this guy and I know why I like this guy. I know what I'm looking for. So what would I say to other kids? I don't know, because I grew up in a time where it was the purity culture where it was like you dated, you didn't date, you only went into courtship relationships. I don't know that that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So I would say just don't, depending on the age that you're asking me about, what age are you saying?
Well, to start with your girls, because they're in their teens, they're early teens.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what I tell them is like, just get to know people.
Yeah.
There's no need to like put a label on it and make it this like intense thing. Just like learn what it's like to be friends with people. Learn what it's like to be friends with the opposite sex and know how to interact with them and hang out and just, and make sure that's with a lot of different types because you don't know. You don't know what you're going to like until you get to experience them.
Yeah.
So that's what I say.
Yeah, I feel similarly. Just like socialize, and like learn to be friends, and I feel like especially like younger teens, there's like pressure to be like, oh well, you have to date, you have to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something like that, and it's like just be friends. Learn how to be friends. You're not ready to be married yet. You're not even ready for a real relationship yet. So just learn how to be friends for now. You know, just let that be what it is, and then time will work its way out. You know, eventually. So just
enjoy it.
Yeah, that's
Even
don't
the feeling,
put
like
pressure on
especially
it.
as because we have girls, right? And I remember what it's like to have crushes and all the feelings that come, and that's fun.
Yeah.
And just enjoy that. Like let it be that, and that's fine to not have to put any pressure or label on it.
I love that perspective, the two different perspectives, because you had one that you were concerned that he hadn't been with anyone, and yet in your mind, you didn't need that.
No.
Because you had a lot of other friends. You knew what you were looking for, and obviously you found it in her, so why look anywhere else? Is that kind of what I'm hearing you say? I mean, obviously you married her, but
Yeah, when I say that, like, again, like when we got to know each other, we really got to know each other. Like it went
deep.
It was very deep. It was it went. I mean, when you set the precedent right out of the gate of like, are we going to become married? You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when you move forward from that, you really start like at that point in my life and her life, we were ready to be ready to have those types of conversations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would not recommend that for
No, we were
someone
in our
that's not ready
20s,
for
you
that
know,
yet.
like it's not like we were our girls' age.
Right. Yeah. So we were adults, and we were already thinking about that direction anyway. So that's, it wasn't so much about like comparing to other friends or anything like that. It was just more a matter of like, well, you know, what would this look like? What could this look like? Let's explore that. You know, let's find out by getting to know each other and being purposeful in like the things that we talk about and explore and what we're hoping to accomplish now and in the future, and kind of like casting vision for what we'll look like when we're 90 together. You know, even like just
That's
going
beautiful.
the whole distance and trying to work through as much as possible ahead of time. But and it's a lot to explore. You know, it's a lot to try to like, because you're coming up against something that is life changing and life altering, and so I think that both of our instincts for that is to be cautious and careful, and there was definitely like feelings of like, oh, this is great, you know.
Yeah, sure,
I felt it wasn't like
yeah.
it was all intellectual or anything like that. I don't want to give that impression, but at the same time, not letting emotions cloud reality. So like
That's
trying to
cool,
really balance that out and make sure that we weren't being tricked by you know feelings or
yeah.
emotions or being blinded by something in the moment. So like we spent a lot of time like really working through all that kind of stuff.
yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So you hit on something I think it's really powerful, because you're a worship leader. You do more than just the drums. I've heard you sing and play the guitar and lead worship, and so you're very spiritually connected, I would say, to be able to be in a position of feeling. And here you are in a relationship where you're saying, we want to make sure, because as a musician, you're in touch with that. You know, I'm kind of explaining how a musician or a creative person actually does feel a lot. There's a lot of emotions. So for you to then meet someone and to put up some boundaries, how were you able to do that and not be like, oh, we're not going to be deceived into, you know, just this is all emotion? Was it the deep conversations, or was it the fact that you had people also speaking into it? How did that help you?
Well, for me, I could go into a number of backstories, but for me, I would say that I do have a lot of deep emotions for sure, but I learned at a certain time in life I don't trust them. So I don't trust feelings to be a guiding principle. So I learned to start filtering a lot through thinking about things and trying to, if I do have deep feelings about something, then doing my best to try to turn that into something purposeful and like understanding it. So breaking it apart, breaking it down, trying to figure out what is the driving motivation here, what's the factors, all that kind of stuff. So I was already that way to a certain extent, and still am. So it's not to say I don't have emotions. I definitely do, but I definitely do my best to run it through a filter when I can. So,
how about for you? Because you're a musician, a singer too. So, as far as your emotional side of it, how were you protecting yourself? He just described his intellectual being a part of that. How did that work for you?
I think it was having a vision of what I wanted my life to be like. I knew I wanted to be a wife and a mom. I knew I wanted to have a family, and it was, what did I want that to look like? So I wasn't willing to give up what I wanted out of my life due to just some feelings. I needed to make sure that the feelings were correct.
Yeah.
So I think
that's beautiful, because you come from a broken home. And so you have that to deal with as well. Did that play into, actually I know it did, because you came home one time and said the way that he treats his siblings, because you had come out here to meet.
I was going to touch on that.
Okay, what?
Because that was actually the deciding factor.
Yeah.
So I was like, it felt like it was happening fast, and yeah, we had all the conversations, but like, this is a life-altering decision. How in the world are you supposed to know this? Yeah. Like, how are you supposed to know? We can do all the thinking and all the talking.
All the right questions to ask.
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And obviously, so we met in California, right? And I was like, apparently it's supposed to take like 2 years to get to know somebody. How do I know that what I'm seeing and experiencing and seeing in him that I do like? How do I know that that's not fake?
So you were already emotionally attached to him
absolutely.
At this point. So okay, keep going.
So it was, I came out here and I met, because he came out for the summer. That's what it was. We graduated. He came out here for the summer. I ended up coming out here to meet everybody, and it was seeing him in an environment that you can't manufacture. If he's out in California with friends that he just met, he could be faking it, right?
It's really good.
But seeing him in his environment with his friends, with his siblings. I mean, Mia was so little at the time too, right? And they're like that's definitely the
yeah. That's what you told me when
I was like, okay, yes. And I saw how Dad treated
Thanks,
Mom.
Mia.
I don't know if she knows that.
She does now.
And I saw how Dad treated Mom, and I was like, oh, this is your normal. Like, this is real. This isn't some facade. This isn't some fake thing that's going to be pulled out from underneath me, right, when I, make this decision. And I did know if I chose him that we would be out here. I knew that. I knew he was coming back out here. And if I chose him, that was a part of it too. And that's a big sacrifice, because I was going to be leaving. So there was a lot weighing on that decision.
Yeah.
But coming out here and seeing and meeting the family, and I was just like, okay, all right. And that for me. I think we got engaged at the end of that month. I think it was August that I came out here, and by the end of August, I think is when we got engaged, if I remember correctly.
And that was beautiful in and of itself, the way you proposed. Can you share that story?
Oh my gosh.
It's really cool.
I don't know if everyone's going to want to hear all this
We're
kind of getting 3
close.
minutes. Yeah,
we may have to do a part 2 on that, so hold on that for a second. I just want to hit on the fact that Christy came out here and met his family. And I just want to brag on the Nicolette family. I'm going to get emotional, because it was my baby girl. And she was going to move 3,000 miles away. And then when I met Daryl and Lynn, obviously when I met him, I fell in love with him. It took a little while. I was a little suspicious.
You threatened
Not
me.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Which is good. You did the right thing. You did the mama bear thing.
But because my daughter was from a broken home, I wanted to make sure that she was going to be taken care of. And I met Daryl and Lynn and fell in love with them. And they brought her in like she was their daughter, not their daughter-in-law. And I just can't thank you guys enough, as well as the faith worship community.
she felt right at home, and it was really a blessing for this mama's heart. You can tell it still means a lot to me. So we will return, I promise.
Oh, we're going again?
Oh, okay, we're gonna get some more waters, so hang on a second. While he does that, I'm actually gonna talk to Christy, baby girl,
Okay.
cause he's getting some more water.
I'll take something.
So he's gonna go over his proposal, which was awesome. It was beautiful. But
You did good.
I'm trying to gather myself too. But I want this to be real, so you can see. This was a big deal. Because I love my daughter. I'm gonna get close to her for a second, and we're gonna have Jared come back on in just a second. He's just sitting over here. Gotta watch for a second. So when you came out here, what was the change that took place? Because you're a born and raised California girl, and then you come out here. What was that experience like? Because let's see, you guys were out here, oh goodness, a year before you got pregnant? I can't remember.
No.
She was
I was 7 months pregnant.
When you, that's
When we
right,
moved out
that's
here.
right, that's
Mhm,
right.
7
So,
months
okay.
pregnant.
So you're coming out here, that's right, that was, yeah. So you come out here and you're 7 months
7
pregnant.
months pregnant, yeah.
And what was that like, just the culture difference from the West Coast to the East Coast?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It didn't feel like that big of a deal to me. I love the people here, and it could have been that I had a soft landing, right? Like
Yeah.
I had the family, I had the church, and so it was like I didn't feel like there was a huge culture, because I do think that, like, as far as church culture, it was very similar to what I was used to. So I think I had a soft landing, and I just like New Englanders. So
Okay, all right. Well, see that. Thank you, New England, for taking my West Coast daughter. And Jared, come on back and join us, because I want to hear this beautiful. I'm gonna sit in the middle now,
I'm just gonna turn my phone off.
and yeah, please turn your phone off, because we're gonna be on camera. And
we are. What?
Wait, what? You don't have to get so far away. You got to get in the shot here. We got to act like we still love each other.
Okay.
So we're going to go over real quickly how you proposed to this
Oh my gosh.
woman. Tell us a little bit about.
This is turning into a dating show here.
It's awesome. I've got so many questions I want to ask.
All right. So proposing. Let's see. How did that start? First, I had to decide that I was going to propose. So there was a lot of soul searching and stuff like that. And then, even though we've been doing that for quite a while, I still get faced with that question of, like, this is it. Now you're down.
Yeah,
You're down, and this is it.
Yeah.
This
You're
is the
putting
time.
a ring on it, like, yeah.
Which kind of makes you go back and reevaluate all the things you thought you had already covered a little bit, because you're like, this is final now, you know. So, and yeah. I think I told Alex. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said his name. I told my friend. Bleep that out.
Bleep, bleep.
Told my friend that I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting nervous. You know, like, what? Is this the right? Is this right? He's like, if you don't marry her, I will. So that was one person who told me that, and then I talked to a couple other people too, and they helped walk me through the cold feet issue. And then from then on, I was like, all right, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. And so then it came down to do the proposal, and oh boy, let's see. So there was a plan. There was a couple friends that helped us out with it. It was a plan to basically do a picnic in the park.
It was a beautiful park. It was a park that had a bridge that looked like it was from Paris.
Yep, Diesel Horse
That's what we
Bridge,
used to call it, Paris. Yeah.
Yeah. And you didn't even, or did you know that? That was one of her favorite bridges?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you did know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
We hung out down there a lot actually.
Okay.
That's, yeah, we would always go down to the
Lots
river.
of talks.
And,
Don't do that anymore.
yeah, it's dangerous now.
It is dangerous now.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It was
it
a
is.
lot less dangerous back then.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we'd be out there all hours of the night, just having deep conversations and taking walks and stuff like that. So it kind of had like the area sort of had like an established getting to know each other. That's where we really got to know a lot of each other as well. So, and then it was like we had picnic things set up and had a CD made of like favorite songs for her
And you didn't know. You didn't know that night he was going to do that.
Okay.
Or did you? Did you have an idea?
I may have tipped my hands, not officially, but she claims that she figured something and was going on. So,
Okay.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a second. Keep going.
all right. So we went out to dinner, and while we were out to dinner, our friends went and set up the blanket in the park, and then we're like, actually, we went to dinner, and then we went back to the apartment, my apartment.
This is where he.
And then you were like, well, let's go out for ice cream or something like that. And I was like, no, we can't. There is a
the
plan.
weirdest thing.
There is a plan in motion, and I didn't say we can't, but I was basically like, oh no, let's not, maybe in a while we'll go for a walk or something like that. Anyway,
like-
she started to get super suspicious, and I knew she was getting suspicious because she started to ask questions, and I was like, oh geez, come on guys, hurry up. So I'm like waiting for text messages, finally get the okay, you're all good to go. So then it was like,
I was like, what are we waiting for? Like,
Let's-
it
yeah,
was the weirdest
yeah.
thing because we were just hanging out in the apartment and I was like, we can't. And we sat there for a while. Like, we totally could have gotten ice cream. That would have been fine.
So you knew something was up.
she was suspicious of something. I don't think she knew what, but
Okay.
well, maybe she did. She didn't say anything though.
No, I wouldn't.
So
I wanted it to happen, so I wouldn't
all
say
right.
anything.
So anyway, then we went for a walk down to the park, and oh look, here it is. So
Yeah.
it was,
All set up.
it's all set up. It was like the whole thing. Rose petals
Strawberries and
music.
like a little dip, champagne strawberry dip thing, and there was
That I
champagne
made.
that he made.
I made that from scratch.
Really?
Yeah, strawberry champagne dip for
That's
strawberries.
awesome. I don't think I ever knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we had a couple disposable cameras there too.
Oh yes, yeah,
So-
I saw those pictures.
Yeah. So we
That's fun.
So then after that, I didn't propose there.
Which
So-
I did think was weird. I was like, oh, I wonder if he's just trying to like throw me off and like do something special. And I was starting to get a little mad about that. I was like, you better not be just making this a special night. Like I wanted it to happen.
So then we left there, and I was like, so we loaded everything up into the trunk of the trusty Corolla, and then so then we started to drive away, and then my plan was that we were going to park and then walk out on the Diesel Horse Bridge, and that's where the proposal was going to happen. And then on the way though, I panicked, and I all of a sudden realized I was like, I don't know what finger to put the ring on. I couldn't remember if it was the left hand or the right hand, and I just drew a total blank. And so I was like, there was some restrooms in the park, and I was like, I gotta go use the bathroom. And so I go in the bathroom, calling my friend. I'm like, which finger is it? I can't remember. Like I didn't have to use the bathroom. I was just like, need to make a phone call. So he tells me, well, he remembered, fortunately. And so then we carried on, and then we went for a walk on the Diesel Horse Bridge, and then got down the little knee thing and all that stuff. So
Did you cry?
I don't think I did
No,
cry.
you didn't
No,
cry.
but I was just real excited.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did anybody get that on camera?
No, we had just
No.
our disposable
Just
cameras.
Okay.
just the two of us.
Yeah, just
Okay.
the two of us.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And the place, if you could see the setting, it looked like a little bridge from Paris. So that's why we called it the Little Paris. But that's so beautiful. So tell me a little bit about the wedding day, because that was pretty epic. The wedding day, actually, I want to get more to the celebration after.
Oh, that was so fun.
But what was it like then at that point? Okay, this was a month or so. No, wait, after you had proposed, how long was it before?
So proposed in August, And we got married in January.
In January. So a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the wedding day. Do you remember much about it?
Yeah. Aunt Darla did my hair, and we were at Steve and Janice's, and yeah, I mean it is a bit of a blur. So most of what I remember is from watching the videos of the day. But yeah, it was really, really beautiful day, and I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
It was a phenomenal day. We had the reception was the fun.
The reception was super fun.
So there was a lot of dancing. We had a full-on orchestra,
6-piece band.
Yeah. And it was just a lot of fun.
He did a great job emceeing. We so much fun. We had champagne on every table.
Yeah.
A lot of our school of ministry friends. We had so much fun.
Yeah, because there's no drinking at School of Ministry. There's not supposed to be any drinking, but
it was over.
The School of Ministry was over, and this was a wedding feast, so they feasted.
Yeah, lots of dancing.
Lots of fun. I remember it being a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That rule never stopped us anyway.
Yes.
Not me and my friends, that's for sure.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories about Jeremy Nicolette and the band. Okay, so here we are now 20 years later. You have 3 beautiful daughters, and would you, just to encourage couples that are, it's not easy to make a commitment, and to make that commitment at your age with the things that are going on around you, knowing that you said you went from, what are we going to be like being old together, and all the way through. You guys had gone through those discussions. So you had determined there is no such thing as the D word. Mm-hmm. And you're from a broken home, so you're like, that's not happening to us. How would you encourage the couples that are going through some difficult times that maybe haven't made that commitment in order to stay together?
Well, one of the things you said was that it's hard to make a commitment. I actually don't think that's true. I think you just have to know what you're committing to and commit to it. And it's not too complicated, actually. But it is the harder part of that. It's easy to make a commitment once you know what you're committing to. So I think that's the hard work of that, is to know what you're committing to. Yeah. And so, but the commitment part is actually not the hard part to me. So I think if people are holding off because they feel like commitments are hard, then I think that they may need clarity on what they're actually trying to accomplish or commit to.
Well, okay, that's for people that haven't yet made that commitment. What about people that have already made it and they're making this decision, they don't want to stay with it anymore? Well, how would you encourage them?
I don't know. I feel like making blanket statements is hard.
Yeah.
I would need to know more details.
Every situation is going to be different.
Yeah.
Having common goals and dreams, I think, is pivotal.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily like so specific that everything has to be laid out in a step plan. I think it's more of like one of ours was like setting the picture of, again, like where are we going to be when we're 90?
Yeah.
We both have that. When you say that, I know exactly what you're picturing.
I do too.
We have that picture.
We have because
specifically.
We talked about it in detail, and it doesn't mean that we know exactly how that's going to work out, but we know where we want to go, and also we've set a time frame so far. Now, once we're past 90, I mean, who knows what we're doing. But we have at least till 90, so. But yeah, it was like we talked about dreams, and it's kind of like dreams was be on a farmer's porch and looking over apple trees, looking down a hill,
mm-hmm.
and being able to watch the sunset. And so that was. And
not just that though, there was emotion to it, because it was like when we talked about it and we painted that picture, it was when you're 90 and you're in that moment, it's like you're kind of reflecting over your whole life.
Right.
The things you got to accomplish, and that no matter
right.
what, like you worked together.
Right.
And
at that point, you're looking back.
yes, exactly. Yeah, you're reflecting on all of that, and so that's the picture that we painted. It's not just necessarily the like the porch or whatever. It was
Right.
more of the like we're together in that moment.
That's what it symbolizes. Yeah.
Right, like remembering what our life was like together.
So then when you have, because every marriage does have disagreements, or if you have a rough time, or it's about finances or whatever, schedules, how do you reconcile that with the dreams that you're talking about? Do you talk through that, or
Yeah, I mean,
do you go back to the...
I think that communication is huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think it's everything.
It's
if you
probably
don't have
the biggest thing in a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
and like honest communication. If you don't have open, honest communication about things, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have to withhold anything,
Yeah.
you know, your deepest, darkest secrets, even if you have to withhold that, then something's off.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like you have to be like completely vulnerable.
Yeah.
And, and then also, with that, with that communication, you can't just communicate by, like, communication is actually, it's in good faith to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's,
Explain that.
well, communication is kind of a vague term, but like in the concept of a relationship, and from my understanding and the way that we approach it is that there's no point of talking past each other. So you have to reach understanding at some point. Like maybe in the moment things are fired up and things get said and whatever, and there's fights and disagreements, because that happens. It absolutely happens. I don't even think that's unhealthy. I think it's usually an opportunity to be able to work on something. So, but you have to be willing to be wrong, and you have to be willing to be humble. You have to be willing to put your pride aside, and you have to try to reach understanding more than anything else. And that's what I mean by communication.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that we do it. So
That's powerful. Do you have anything to add to that? I mean, that's...
No, that is definitely the way that
So
we
you
do
said
it.
3 things. Repeat those. You have to be willing to be humble.
I can't always remember what I say.
Let's rewind the tape.
Rewind and watch it. You have to be humble. You have to be willing to be wrong.
Yes.
And then there was a 3rd thing that you said.
Put your pride aside.
Put your
Well,
pride
it's-
aside.
Yeah, it's sort of
That's
like
kind of the same
humility,
thing,
but
yeah. But that is the one thing that you do so well, that even I remember in the beginning of our marriage impressed me so much, is like, yeah, you can be stubborn, but and you had like your ideas and your ways, and it was like and it seemed like maybe that your way was the way, but I learned that if we actually got to that point of understanding, zero pride. Like he'd be like, oh, all right. And he was like, done. And I'm not done. I'm all fired up still. I'm like,
That's
oh,
the
wait.
beauty. When I said earlier how
I'm still
stubborn
angry.
they're both,
I know.
that's what I mean. It can get explosive.
There were some fights where I would, in that whole working through things, and then I would realize, oh, I'm wrong. I'm in the wrong here. So I'd be like, oh, you're right. I'm wrong. Yeah, I totally see what you're saying now.
Wow, that I
And
don't
then-
even know.
I know.
I don't,
Yeah.
But
no,
then,
it's
but then she would be like, I'm not ready to be done.
I'm fighting. I still have all these feelings.
You can't just flip it up like that.
True story.
That's beautiful, because it really shows who you are. Because most, I'm not saying all, but most generally, in a heated discussion, if you realize you're wrong, you're going to still cover that, because there's still these emotions flying, and you may walk away or whatever and think about it to calm down.
That
But
happens too.
Sure.
Oh, it does happen
yeah,
too.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the things we learned pretty early,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
was go to bed angry.
Yeah, that whole
Okay.
advice, don't go to bed angry. We
That's
were
the
like, that
worst
is the
advice
worst
in the world.
advice ever.
Imagine it's midnight, you're exhausted, and you have to hash through stuff. I mean, you can't. You literally can't. You're in too much of an emotional state. You have too much.
You're tired.
You're
Yes,
tired.
no.
You're drained. You're exhausted. You're trying to speak from a place of exhaustion, not from a place of like offering anything. And that's the worst advice.
Yeah.
And so we wouldn't. And so sometimes we just go to bed angry.
It would be to the point I would be so mad. Like, it felt like I was seething, like my whole body, like I felt it. And we'd be in bed.
And you could go to sleep with that? You don't know if she's going to...
I was exhausted. I was getting up at 5 in the
no,
morning.
he was
I was
tired.
working in construction and writing heat.
Yeah,
So like, 12 o'clock at night is not the time to be dealing with that
But
kind of stuff.
I did learn that, so I would remove myself, because I found if I didn't leave, I sometimes would just kind of like verbally poke at him.
She wasn't ready for it to be done.
And I was like, oh, I just need this to be resolved.
Yeah.
So I would have to leave the room so
Yeah.
he could fall asleep, and I'd still be angry. But then the next day, like, it was a completely different. We were different people. We were ourselves. We were able to actually have like a real conversation.
Yeah. And to your credit, I mean, because that was a sticking point for a while.
It was hard.
Just like, I need resolution.
Yeah.
And then learning that resolution can come a little bit later too.
Yep.
And actually it's going to be more productive.
Yes.
And it's going to even put us in a better place. And so that's when we actually learned that pretty quick, actually. It
Did not take long.
Didn't take long at all. And even like within like the first few months of being married, it was like that's the worst advice. It's like, don't go to bed angry. What are you supposed to do? Stay up all night angry? I mean, it makes no sense.
No sense.
Awesome advice. So obviously you can tell that marriage takes work, and so does community. And what I love about this particular conversation that we're having is how to have a relationship that's authentic. But what I love about what Daryl and Lynn have established here in the faith worship community is the fact that there is an open forum, but not everybody participates. And so in like what has just transpired here, I love that about this little session. And I didn't know how it was going to go. None of us did know how it was going to go. But it's beautiful because it gets down to the most important relationship is the husband and wife relationship. It's so key. And what I've watched over the last 20 years of these two growing and their family growing, and how they absolutely are committed to this vision, this dream. I didn't know that they had these deep conversations from the second time they were out on, which is beautiful. And I think transparency, and he just hit it just a second ago when he talked about when you're in the intensity of the argument or disagreement, as long as there's humility and there's a willingness to listen. I think we touched on that another episode, of just the willingness to listen. Because sometimes when you get heated in an emotion, and leaders, as well as people that just go to the that are just a part of the congregation, that aren't maybe leading anything, everybody's human, and we all have a need to connect. So thank you guys. Thank you for being real in this. This is just scraping the surface. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this isn't anything like I thought it was.
That's what everybody tells me.
We didn't even get to debate Epstein files, politics, theology. We didn't get into anything.
We didn't get into anything. But we will. We will. But my desire is for you guys to meet these gems, these hidden gems that are within this congregation, that are within this community, that are authentic. They're real people, and they're not afraid to go after the real thing is relationship and connection. They've built family. And that's what I so appreciate about Daryl and Lynn, how they have fostered that. But it takes all of us. It's not just them. It's not just the leaders. It's every one of us coming into the service and not just, listen, what I'm finding out about Faith Worship Center is that it's a very busy place and people come from a long ways. So take advantage of the things that they have on Pizza Sundays, the men's groups, the women's get-togethers. Don't take it for granted, because we don't know how long we have in this time frame to be a community. So take advantage of it. And we all know the kids are growing up so fast and things change so quickly that we don't know. But right now we have that opportunity. And so don't leave it up to just Daryl and Lynn and the leadership team. Don't leave it up to the worship team to get you into a mode to worship Jesus. You actually need to come in completely wanting to connect. Obviously, first and foremost with the Lord, but we need each other.
So y'all just saw the real thing of what it means to be a connection piece of that community. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will, hey, listen, you see these guys sitting around, you need to go and talk to them. Just say hi on a Sunday morning. Even though he might think he's full of himself playing the drums up there. I don't know. Maybe that's changed.
He doesn't have that look anymore.
He doesn't have that look anymore, so don't be intimidated. These are gems. These are hidden gems. So have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Hidden Gems.